for the Orion Project is that because of our strategic team and the contacts that we have, once we have a proof of principle system up and running again, we will be able to get this in front of a lot of important leaders around the world and get them educated on the potential for this technology so that it can then be supported in a much larger way through a society. And I think that this is why we need the seed funding, so we can get this equipment up and running again. And it's quite a big process. I mean, the seed funds we need for this are to not only to be able to safely store all this equipment and material, but then to catalog it. What we intend to do is to scan all of the documentation into and digitize it so that it is in safe, secure, multiple locations. And then also then to study all of his original papers and notebooks and compare them with what's in the public domain in terms of patents and see where the actual frequencies are for the electronics and what the schematics are that were not disclosed publicly in the patents that Stan Meyer did. And this is a significant and time-consuming research project that we'll have to undertake by people who are skilled at reading such technical information. And then in addition to that, we're then going to have to get all this equipment that's obviously been lying around for 12 years functional again, which is a significant engineering and technical task in a setting that is properly equipped and also for safety, because you're dealing with an explosive hydrogen and oxygen gas, and this can't be done in the basement of someone's house, obviously. So all of this has to be done, and it can be done in a few months, but it can only be done if we have adequate support financially to get all of these elements put in place and do it as quickly as possible. We certainly don't want to just see this material sitting in storage for year after year like it has for the last dozen years. We want to do this very quickly, and to do that we're going to need your help and your support. So I really do appreciate what you can do in terms of networking this to the right folks and helping us with this really important undertaking, which can make such a huge difference to the energy situation and to the world's environment, and also to the current economic crisis, because one of the things that the family that inherited all of this is asking is that the eventual manufacturing of the equipment that would come out of this study be done in the United States to replace the collapsing manufacturing sector that we have here, and as sort of a new high-tech, green-collar, as they say, jobs renewal program. And this is a very important concept, is that, as we have this big economic collapse occurring all around us, that we have to find new technologies that can create new industries that will not only save the economy, but also save the environment at the same time. And this is precisely what needs to happen as the old so-called Rust Belt fossil fuel and automotive industries collapse. We need to have something to put in its place so that our economy can again become robust and people can have abundant and productive lives, but doing things that are not going to harm the environment, but actually replace the old infrastructure of our civilization with this new energy infrastructure that can create so much abundance while at the same time not harming the environment.
Absolutely, and we certainly, one of the things that the Orion Project wants to do is try to integrate a number of these issues so that it becomes a win-win for everybody concerned.
Well, I think the other thing to realize is that eventually, once we can demonstrate that a motor, for example, can run on such a system, that, or perhaps, and this has to be looked into, can be retrofitted. That this is something that would not only create a lot of manufacturing jobs, because you're going to have to create these new motors, or if they're a kit that retrofits an old motor, the kits will have, but then you're going to have to install them. If it's a kit that you're retrofitting on an existing car or generator or genset or what have you. And so for that reason, what you find is that there's an enormous amount of potential to benefit the environment and the economy at the same time with this breakthrough. And that, of course, is what Stan Meyer wanted, and he died suddenly and tragically before he could see his dream fulfilled. And what I think we need to do now is that the world is in wide agreement that there's a huge problem with global warming. There's a huge problem with the old industries collapsing and not meeting the needs. The automotive industries, of course, are collapsing in the United States. And this is a breakthrough which could renew all of those areas of our economy at the same time improving the environment, because when you burn hydrogen and oxygen from water, basically, as I mentioned, your only emission is water vapor, which wouldn't even have to go back into the environment. You could ideally put it through a condenser coil and return the water back to the tank to be reburned. Of course, it wouldn't be as much as it went in because a lot of it was converted to energy. But nevertheless, this is just a matter of conventional engineering. Where the real breakthrough is in these electronic circuits. And that's what we have to have people to study and to figure out how exactly that he was doing that. And for that, you have to have a rather sophisticated laboratory and oscilloscopes and analyzers and what have you. I won't bore you with all the technical stuff, but it's something that isn't going to be done in a week or two with a couple of $1,000s. You're going to need several $100,000 to maybe $1 million. We're still working on the budget for this, but I think that we're going to have to support this, and we estimate that within the next 30 days or less, we will have all of this equipment here in the Charlottesville, Virginia area. And then the question is, then what? It was going to be up to all of us who know about this to raise the funds to set up a laboratory and hire the correct, well-educated, knowledgeable electronics people and equip them properly in this laboratory. And so that's what we need your help with, and we need it immediately so that we can, as soon as we take possession of this equipment and his documentation, we'll be able to begin the study of it. So please help us with this and contribute generously to the orionproject.org. Again, that's www.theorionproject.org.
I might add that I visited the people who had the technology, the material, if you will, last January. We wrote an article or several articles on the Orion Project website, theorionproject.org. As many of you have seen over the last year or so, we saw some initial tests on it, but we were very frustrated in terms that it has taken from essentially January, end of January until almost the middle of December in order for us to obtain the materials and negotiate with the people who have it. It's been a long, drawn-out process. People have asked us over and over, well, what's happening? Why aren't you there yet? And these things just take time. But we finally, other people who were bidding on it decided to drop out or did not have the proper qualifications, and the Orion Project has been successful at this point, and literally it's a matter of days to a week or so, or days to just a couple weeks to negotiate the final details on the agreement. And to that end, we're just incredibly excited about this opportunity because it's an opportunity not only for us, but essentially for the world to get some of this technology out. There are numerous people around the United States and around the world, actually, who have been working on this technology of various types, various sorts over the years. But Stan Meyer's technology has really been the gold standard by which people have always tried to obtain or to get to where he was. But without access to his materials, it's been impossible for people to really get to where Stan Meyer was working. So this is a breakthrough. This is a major breakthrough, and I'm incredibly excited about it.
I think the other exciting thing about this is that there are a lot of people who have had this type of breakthrough before, but that their information has ended up being quote, black shell taken into a project to be